Señoras y señores, de esta forma...
Are you sure about using this table? Because I'm not entirely sure about the structural integrity. By Section 6 of the Tables, Ladders and Chairs Act 2012, I hereby find the defendant guilty. For God's sake, man. Yo guys, it is your boy Darren here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, for those of us in the UK, and it's been Father's Day in the weekend just past. Shouts all the dads out there, and it was a day to spend at home with the family. The UK's most prolific dad, who has like over 100 kids, even managed to find the time to sit down with one of them. Turns out he's only 3 clear of Dwight York. This guy got more cards on Sunday than Granit Xhaka's Premier League season, and it was an opportunity for us to celebrate our dad, Vinicius Jr.
Drives it in, and they go ahead. Vinicius Jr.
Gerard Piqué received an unorthodox Father's Day message from Gavi. Meanwhile, there was a heartwarming Father's Day post from Erling Haaland to his dad, a HP Compact N600C. Onto the football though now, and with the domestic season over and no World Cup, I'm looking at you for that one, FIFA. It's pretty quiet right now, unless your name is Romelu Lukaku, who's on the verge of forcing a move back to Inter Milan on loan from Chelsea in a deal worth £7 million for the season. £100 million to 7 might be the worst depreciation ever. That would have paid for one of his dishwasher-shaped feet last season. He's only going on loan for a year as well. This has to be the worst deal in footballing history. How's he done a give and go with clubs? A 1-2 with football teams? £100 million for a shed was bad enough in the first place. This dog genuinely has better ball control than him. Meanwhile, this is what a ball sees when he takes his first touch of a game. He's going back to his dream club, as if he hasn't said that about every other team that he's been at. Romelu's looking kind of familiar right now. I'm pretty sure he even said that about West Brom. No one dreams of West Bromwich Albion. That is a nightmare. Here we have him trying to explain to Inter fans why he was pictured kissing the Chelsea badge in his second game for the Blues.
As I promise, like, and even it's been a week.
He can put together a convincing argument, but I don't think the Inter fans are gonna believe him.
A liar, actress, go the fuck out.
Thomas Tuchel's ready to chase him down after costing the club approximately 1.2 billion after tax. Apparently the deal was thrashed out in a 3.5-hour call between Inter and Chelsea representatives. 1.5 hours of that was him freestyling.
This shit is wicked on these mean streets. None of my friends speak. We all trying to win.
Ron, please listen, we've got things to discuss. The deal is so cheap and only a loan deal in itself because Inter are still broke. How? Chelsea just gave you £100 million for this cabinet last year. He's packed his bags for Italy and he's ready to go, but I can't wait for an exclusive interview to come out 3 months into his time there. Look, listen, the pasta's good and everything, but it doesn't quite match that of the London. Elsewhere, and there's apparently plans coming out of UEFA for a new 4-team tournament held before the Champions League starts, including the Champions League winner from last season and 3 further big teams. What are the qualifications for being a big team here? Got United listing off the clubs they beat in pre-season to be considered a top team.
Reading, Aldershot, Bracknell. You know, I've got a Didcot, Yateley. You know, my Winners.
Tottenham representatives can be seen getting escorted out of UEFA headquarters with an Audi Cup on their CV. We've got live scenes of the CEO of the Champions League telling Arsenal how it is after seeing their application.
You're in 15th. Go chat to Brighton and Fulham and them, man. They're the clubs.
But imagine the Gunners get in. They're going to be petrified when they find out they've got to play Bayern in Europe again.
What have I got myself into?
I am fucking shitting myself.
What in the Diet Super League is all this then? Just bring back the ESL, because at least Twitter was good. Honestly, give this concept of a 4-team tournament 2 years and it's going to be getting held in Saudi Arabia. It's yet another example of more games per season along with the new 23-24 Champions League season revamp. Pedri's going to be playing 237 games a season at this rate. You have to actually win the Champions League, of course, to play in this, so at least Man City know they don't have to play extra games. Barca are going to be in trouble when they find out there's an entry fee to all of this. Meanwhile, UEFA aren't even going to entertain Nottingham Forest turning up with their 1979 European Cup.
Get out!
getting eat.
Now, the new Paul Pogba documentary, known as The Pogmentary, is out on Amazon Prime, and it's as bad as its name suggests it would be. Now, I'll be totally honest, I've only watched half of it, the first 3 episodes, because honestly, it wasn't worth the time. But this is a transfer request in video format. It's 2.5 hours of him finding different ways to suggest that he wants to go to PSG. What if it goes wrong for him there as well, though? Poor PSG are going to be fuming next season when a second player in 3 years violates them in a documentary.
He's done it again! That is a foul! Fucking little bastard!
The thing is, bro, Kylian Mbappe is not signing you. You can complete personal terms, you can agree a fee, you can sort out the medical, but it's gonna break down at a Kylian level. Now, obviously, we're here today discussing the signing of Paul Pogba. Kylian, obviously, we understand that there's tensions between you, but we think he would genuinely But think about the football club's expected dabs. Episode 1 saw an introduction into his first spell at United and how he left France for Manchester, and then, of course, led on to why he ended up leaving. It spent a total of 8 seconds on his time at Juventus. I wouldn't have it personally, because he's linked to going back there. On a petty level, I wouldn't let him sign again, because that's not good brand exposure. The second episode was more about his family life, in which we could see Antoine Griezmann attempting to fit in with the Pogba family at a barbecue. And in the third episode, the final one that I watched, was more to do with the World Cup and his Euro 2020 spell. And to me, it was just, the reason I didn't finish it was because it was all just too PR-ish. Like, all of these documentaries always are. But this was a different level. Like, this was following him during, and to be quite honest, catastrophic point in his footballing career. And still somehow, all you got out of it was that he's absolutely incredible, a French god. He does seem like a sound person, although he did apparently refer to a £300,000 a week contract as nothing with his late agent Mina Raiola. Listen, if someone wants to offer me nothing right now. On to transfer talk now, and at Chelsea, they're supposedly working on a deal to take Raheem to Stamford Bridge, and with their financial uncertainty in the past few months, they'll welcome some Sterling there. I, for one, can't wait for his link-up and chemistry with Reece James again.
Pass to Sterling, dickhead. There we go. Right, hang back. Sterling, pass it back. Sterling, pass it back. He's there. He's on side. Pass it to him. He's on side. Sterling, he's on side. Pass it to him. Don't dive. Fucking idiot! Liverpool to Man City to Chelsea, and being in all of their starting 11 is a wild career path, in fairness to him. He's following on in the Bunda steps of former Chelsea right-back Branislav Ivanovic. Would actually be an interesting signing as well, in terms of game time and stuff. But I can't imagine Christian Pulisic will be impressed with his possible replacement.
You don't know where I'm from, dog.
United are still in pursuit of a new midfielder, amongst other things. First of all, making a bid for Christian Eriksen. If there's one man that doesn't need extra stress and higher blood pressure, it's probably him. Meanwhile, they're still trying to convince Barcelona midfielder Frenkie de Jong to join the club. Leave me alone, Eric. He's getting fed up after receiving his 86th missed call of the week from Erik ten Hag. Hey, listen, bro, you know we were G's back in the Netherlands. Help me out here. I've already lost all my hair, innit? I didn't even have any hair before, but even more's fallen out. But forget all of that for a second, because there's the huge, monumental signing, a quite possibly intergalactic deal for the Premier League title race. Liverpool re-signed Jay Spearing for the under-23s and youth coaching role.
What is happening? Who is this?
Yeah, listen, Liverpool have signed Jay Spearing again. We're actually returning back to the banter era. Paul Konchesky as defensive coach? Yeah, get him back, son. They've even given him the number 69 shirt. This isn't real. This isn't actually happening. Whoever the script writers are for this are on spice. This is the metaverse. This is the only explanation. At Tottenham, and they've signed Yves Bissouma from Brighton, and after this video of him laughing at Arsenal misery, I'm sure he's going to be a fan favourite very quickly. And at Arsenal, they've signed Porto 22-year-old midfielder Fabio Vieira. Listen, they're signing Vieira and Marquinhos to make Arsenal fans think they're big dogs, until the realization that his first name isn't Patrick sets in. Now, over in Spain, and there is the legitimately surreal developing story of Barcelona fans donating on a YouTube live stream to help fund the club. It's probably because they insist on signing players using IOUs. If they were a person, they wouldn't have bought their friends a drink on a night out in 4 years. Imagine signing a player using Twitch bits. Slap a bid in for Andreas Christensen of 100 gifted subs. See what happens. Now, we're all gathered here today to welcome Andreas to the club, and we'd like to say a quick thank you to TiddyGrabber420 on Twitch there for the gifted subs to make this one happen, who's donating £4.49 with the expectation that that keeps the club afloat. One fan donated with a message saying to use the money on Gerard Piqué's remaining wages and just make him retire a year early. I wonder who that was from on an alternate account. This is actually jokes. Imagine if you're in the middle of negotiations, you're about to get the gifted subs required to make the signing and the stream goes down. F's in the chat only, mate. Elsewhere in Spain, and someone's been done for fraud, finally, they've taken down Eden Hazard. Now, so apparently, Samuel Eto'o hid 3.8 million euros from Spanish authorities, and I presume they're gonna take it off him. How do you even hide that much money? I knew I shouldn't have put it all under the bed, darling. Meanwhile, at Real Madrid, and they've signed Antonio Rudiger from Chelsea after his contract expired this week. And for the shirt reveal, he wanted to make sure that the Champions League badge saying that Real had won the competition 14 times was definitely showing. You weren't even there. Why are you trying to flex it? This is serious Ryan Brewster vibes right now. Jack Grealish is on holiday over in Las Vegas. He was pictured drunk on his way home from a club. No shock, this was him at duty free in the airport at 7:30 a.m. Now, I know I've spoken about it in this video, but who actually cares? Footballers, just keep getting drunk on holiday, man. Enjoy yourselves. Don't let the media drive the narrative. And as for Jack Grealish, just don't let him drive at all, because we all know what will happen. Jadon Sancho left it late to settle the score in a basketball game with Tammy Abraham filming him.
I win the play. Mason, oh!
That's the first three-pointer that a United player's taken in a while. Meanwhile, Cristiano Ronaldo's son, Cristiano Jr., is showing off all the hallmarks of his dad's footballing capabilities.
Goodness gracious me!
Yeah, listen, from a free kick perspective, like father, like son. US streamer Speed took to Omegle to chat to people about football, but didn't seem to know exactly what a Spurs was.
Who's your favorite player?
Lucas Moura from Spurs.
I don't know who that is. That football club is random. Nobody knows what that football club is. Probably not even in the Premier League.
You don't know who Spurs is?
Who? Premier League. We're not talking about no Farmers League or your dad league.
This guy really said,
Top Spur? No.
What's that?
Another man not a fan of Tottenham is new American Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner, who refused to sign a shirt held by a Tottenham fan after an MLS game. Oh, no. Speaking of Arsenal, and former playmaker Mesut Ozil has officially retired in order to become a pro gamer. He did this 4 years ago, let's be real. I'm sorry, but you can't be an all-time footballing great if you're searching for battle passes and not assists when you're still in your 30s. Meanwhile, at Southampton, they made the signing of Man City young goalkeeper Gavin Bazunu by quote tweeting his Player of the Season campaign for their rivals Portsmouth, who are also obviously wanting to bring him back. It's a shithousery award for the Saints. On to our goals of the week though now, and we've got two beautiful finishes here. First of all, a measured volley, and one that just looks so satisfying, coming in from Abu Rizal.
Kita dikejutkan pemirsa. Satu tendangan keras, satu tendangan volley.
Meanwhile, down in the lower leagues of the Netherlands, we've got an example of some beautiful amateur acrobatics from Hugo Bishop. Over in Brazil now, and Neymar has not been too pleased after being called out for attending a family event for his grandma. That's because most people don't celebrate a family event by pamming everyone in attendance. The PSG forward is actually only 3 goals off Pele's record for the Brazilian national team. I can't wait for Pele to start claiming goals count that he's dreamt about before. Now look, does it count if I thought about scoring? Over at Genoa, and they may have been relegated from Serie A this season, but at least they've got some kind of divine intervention to help them out scoring wise. German second division side Heidenheim played a friendly this week and won 29-0. They must have organised the game against 11 traffic cones. How do you even do that? Meanwhile, in Qatar and ahead of the World Cup in the winter, there's the news that you can receive up to 7 years in prison for a one-night stand in the country.
Breaking news.
News just in here. Phil Foden ruled out for 7 years. We're done, bro. We're finished. We're going to be coming out for game week 1 at the World Cup with 8 players. Neymar's going to be the first man to share a cell with his sister in all history. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Cortada pela defesa. Luciano, uma bomba que vai parar direto no hotel e quebrar o vidro do hotel. Se alguém poderia, com certeza, uma das imagens do ano nessa...
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home though, and we've got a Plymouth fan here who might just be a little bit into the side that he supports. My face has really changed, I've got to say.
What is he doing?
Now, one designer created a concept design for what a stadium would look like if it had 1 million seats worth of capacity. Still less stairs than St. James's Park, I can guarantee that. Imagine paying for your ticket and your seat is up towards the top. You'd be at the game and you'd still need to stream it. You can't see from there. Now, Turkish side Galatasaray were confident of bringing in Gedson Fernandes, a midfielder who'd been based in Portugal, but at the last moment, Besiktas, their rivals, came in and stole him from under their noses. Not only that, but they announced the signing at 1905 on like a 24-hour clock, which matches the year in which Galatasaray were created as a football club, just to really rub it in. It's a shithousery award for the Turkish giants. Yeah, tell you what, hang on a second. Let me just try this.
Just located the phone, guys. This is actually on floor 9.
Over in China, and goalkeeper Lu Weigu had a day to forget, flapping at a sort of long-range effort / cross, I don't even know, that ended up in the back of his net before then miscontrolling a back pass and letting the ball go over his own line, and he was subbed off shortly afterwards. Meanwhile, over in Argentina, and it was a contrasting day for Rosario Central's goalkeeper, as Gaspar Serbio scored a winning penalty late on in their game there. In Brazil now, and it's bad enough when you let one fly and the shot ends up almost going out for a throw-in. Add to that and a badly timed advert comes up asking you to improve your aiming just a couple of moments later, and it really is a nightmare situation. But at least you're not accidentally getting violated for not having any hair on TV, as in the same nation on TV and a shampoo advert appeared as two bald bosses were discussing tactics. In Lithuania, and again we're rubbing salt in the wounds here, because scoring an own goal is bad enough, but when it's a handball own goal, VAR isn't gonna help you here. In Norway now, and it's a bad start to the match for this referee. In Chile, and one goalkeeper was very intrigued about the camera that was at the back of his goal net. In South Africa, and we've got a great example of their famous skills show, Cassie Flavor. Mate, this is just Alan Saint-Maximin staying in South Africa, and one assistant may have been caught out here getting distracted, shall we say, by the referee. Meanwhile, in Cameroon, and their first division list of top scorers has been released for the week. Who's that at the bottom? Eric Cantona.
Long time no see. You're alive.
In Chile, and there's only the goodest boys in the crowd there. Meanwhile, imagine you're filming what could be a decisive moment in a match over in the Middle East, when out of nowhere, now that it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, and we've got a story that's actually almost like the second part of one that you've seen before, because I brought to you the story of a man called Nicola Napoli, who'd managed the same side, Craiova, in Romania 8 times before. Well, it's not going to shock you when I inform you that he's left again. For the 8th time, this has to be a world record. In the Indonesian 2nd division now, and you can't be too careful, you can't be too safe in training. This is what Arsenal players have to do when Thomas Partey lets fly. In Brazil, and we've got one fan at least realising that his scarf was upside down. We've seen many goalkeeping howlers, I feel, in the last month on FTW, but this one in Latvia might well just top the lot. And elsewhere, have you ever been so confident in scoring from a corner that you physically call that it's gonna happen beforehand?
Oui, rentre. Non. Vas-y, pas rentrant, frère.
Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now, this is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. Now, I don't know for sure where this is, but I've been told it's in Uruguay. If it's not, I apologize. And we've got an example of a terrible decision being made by a linesman as a ball is put through for an attacker who's in his own half at the time the ball is played through, and he's still giving us offside. Now, that's bad officiating, but I guess it could be a mistake. That is until you see an even worse decision that was made a few minutes later. On to the weird stuff though now. Over in Indonesia, and a footballer called Zevalente signed for PSS Sleman this week. They had a very, very unique way of announcing his signing on social media, and that was by making him into a toy figurine and unboxing him, like, virtually. Mario Mazlac, a Serbian centre-back who also plays for PSS, he managed to injure himself this week by accidentally kicking his own luggage at an airport. And finally, we have got yet another update story here. It's the story of non-league side Staines Town. Now, again, as I said before, I might make an entire video on this topic, but this is a non-league club who ceased operations and refused to play at their home stadium because the company that owns their stadium, they believe, is involved in all manner of crimes. They stumbled upon evidence that would indicate the company that owns their stadium is involved in human trafficking, deforestation, and all sorts of other, like, crazy crimes. Well, this week they put out yet another statement that's even wilder than the original one. Once again, reaffirming the claims they'd made before, also slamming the FA and all other governing bodies, including their own council, for turning a blind eye towards it, before suggesting they're gonna have to move away from the stadium anyway. Somebody else in the area literally owns their penalty box. Someone else, like, backing onto the land like a homeowner or something, happens to apparently have rights to the land that their penalty area sits on. So they literally don't own the 18-yard box that they play at. The statement mentions Botswana. It has a pun about the planet Uranus. Listen, honestly, just sack off the club and start again, because clearly this is the point of no return. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.